Starlink is a technology developed by Elon Musk's company SpaceX, which allows people to have access to fast internet through satellite, meaning that you don't need any cables and you can access it from any place on Earth, provided that it has the satellite coverage. And in what I consider to be a brilliant PR move, Elon Musk allowed Ukraine to use his satellite, which means that not only can they beta test the product, but at the same time he would gather a lot of positive PR from the people who support the current culture war and are on the side of Ukraine. The Ukrainian government has also said that this was incredibly helpful for their military operations and the use of internet on the field in a way that the Russians weren't able to shut it down was pivotal in the war effort. However, all of this has changed, as recently Elon Musk says that he will no longer provide the funding required for Starlink to fly over Ukraine. And this happens after one of the Ukrainian diplomats have told Elon Musk on Twitter to fuck off. You see, Musk tweeted on October the 3rd that he would like a peace between Ukraine and Russia. He would like the elections regarding the annexation of the Donbas regions to be remade, but this time under UN supervision. And Russia should leave if that is the will of the people. Crimea, formerly part of Russia, as it has been since 1783, and the water supply to Crimea should be assured and Ukraine remains neutral. Now, this, of course, infuriated the Ukrainian diplomat, which told him in a very diplomatic way to fuck off. And a lot of people also dogpiled on Elon Musk for his particular take, accusing him of collaborating with Russia. And unfortunately, this is the culture we live in. You are not allowed to have any bad takes in public. You are not given the opportunity to have a nuanced view. People can't just disagree with a person and admit, yeah, on this issue the person is wrong, but I do support other initiative that this person might have. And more importantly, words speak louder than actions. I mean, despite the fact that he allowed his technology to be used in Ukraine, all of that doesn't matter because he had one tweet. That means that he is an ally of Putler, or whatever the progressives like to call him now. So, of course, the mainstream media capitalized on this. A lot of blue check marks were writing articles and accusing him of talking with Putler and collaborating with him, to which Elon Musk responded that the last time he spoke with Putler was a couple of months ago, and the subject was space. So 14 hours ago, Elon Musk came out and said that Starlink can no longer afford to give Ukraine free service and asked that the Pentagon pay for it. Starlink had been a game changer in the war. This comes days after the Ukrainian ambassador told Musk to fuck off, to which Elon Musk responded, "We're just following his recommendations." Now, what I love is that a lot of blue checkmarks are all of a sudden making the argument that you shouldn't punish an entire nation because you are offended by a single man, which is very interesting because the morality that I gave from Twitter is that Russian cat breeders should be punished and banned from cat competitions because the actions of a single man. And that is just one example. I mean, almost every other person that's not even remotely connected to the war but happens to have some Russian ethnicity and they're competing in some international sport should be banned because of the actions of one man. So maybe, I don't know, like change the man? Did that occur to you? I mean, it's not very diplomatic to quote-unquote buy the hand that feeds you, you know, show a little gratitude. I mean, you don't have to agree with the man. I don't agree with his take. But like, you don't have to agree with him. But you can phrase it in a more diplomatic way. You can make an argument on why that would be a bad idea, rather than just hurl insults. But I did see a lot of aggression coming from Twitter, especially from the progressive left, whenever they disagree with someone. Like, rather than just have a conversation, they know where the mute button is and how to hurl a couple of insults on the keyboard. And, well, you know, these types of actions have consequences. Now, with that out of the way, I would like to point that it is my firm belief that this is the circus, okay? Like, this is the narrative for the low IQ people, the plebs, or the people that don't bother with politics, right? It's kind of like a nice story where you have this philanthropist giving internet to the underdog, and then the underdog insults the philanthropist, and now the philanthropist is taking away, and all of the people all of a sudden are crying, and they're like, oh, so you're offended for the actions of a single man, blah, blah, blah. In reality, I do think that Musk is a savvy business owner and realizes that why should he pay the bills when the US government can do that for him? I mean, he already got the PR campaign going, he already beta tested the project, and continuing to provide this internet infrastructure costs Starlink around $100 million a year. So, of course, if he can get someone else to foot the bill, why wouldn't he? I mean, it's just a smart business decision. And given the fact that a diplomat insulted him, he now has a way out of backing out of the deal without losing face, without losing much PR, because most of the supporters would completely understand. I mean, if you would help someone and that person would insult you, or someone associated with that person would insult you, it's reasonable if you decide to stop giving help. Of course, I don't think that this has anything to do with it. I am 100% sure that he would have pulled back support, at least financial support, even if he wouldn't have been insulted. But this is just a really nice excuse for him to back out of the deal. And it's also important to point out, certain conversations that don't happen on Twitter, is that Starlink isn't the one that's paying for all of this. As you can see here, also the United States government, United Kingdom, and Poland, with Poland being the largest single contributor, has paid for almost 9,000 terminals, which cost around 1,500 and 2,500 for the 2 models sent to Ukraine. So while the infrastructure was supported by Starlink up until now, the terminals themselves were paid by world governments. But I guess now the bill is going to be forwarded to the US Department of Defense. And it's also interesting to point out that Elon Musk does not want to provide the same coverage over Crimea. He believes that an invasion of Crimea would provide an escalation and it would lead to World War III. And because of that, he doesn't want his company to be a part of that. And again, it's his company, it's his personal decision. I don't see how he could be constrained to do something that he wouldn't, especially since a lot of left-leaning Americans do not like capitalism. Why doesn't the government have the technology to have satellites and provide internet to people? If capitalism is so bad, surely the government should have done this technology by now. Why do you want the private corporations to do this? And finally, another interesting point is that Elon Musk is now under FBI investigation for his attempt at purchasing Twitter. So all of these things are happening at the same time. And I do admit Elon Musk is a very interesting individual, and there's a lot you can talk about him, and whether you like him or not, he has made an impact during these last couple of years. Let me know what you guys think, though, and I will see you in the comment section. Take care.